One thing I noticed even in your dissertation is a lot of guys that were starting new ministries and girls that are starting new ministries, they struggle with discouragement. They struggle with this kind of like spiritual warfare even, and this sense of confusion kind of as they're getting things off the ground. What would you say to someone that's in that zone? They're maybe they're discouraged right now, they're struggling. And I know COVID has provided many opportunities for that for collegiate ministry leaders. What would be something that you would say to encourage those that are struggling?
Yeah, no, I think first off, kind of like the Apostle Paul said, don't think it's strange. Don't think that. I find it interesting. There's a couple, famous preachers from history, that have written a lot, like Martin Lloyd Jones. He wrote a whole book on depression
Hmm.
and just overcoming it. Charles Spurgeon was notorious and dealt with depression. I think it's the irony is that sometimes we think we're the only ones, and
Hmm.
or we try to push the beach ball under the water and think that, oh, it'll just kind of go away, and the reality is just owning it. I think that's part of what COVID, I hope, is teaching ministers, and I know it's taught me. I'll say personally, is to actually put names to what. Not it sounds so strange to talk about your feelings, but really to put names to what you're actually going through.
Hmm.
And because I found if we can't name it, you can't deal with it. It's
Hmm.
just a nebulous kind of blob. But again, in the Bible, it says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but it's principalities. There's powers. There's an order and a structure. And if we don't know what we're up against, what we're facing, what
Hmm.
assignment maybe that is against us, we can't attack it. And so I think my main encouragement would be uh, not just that depression and discouragement. In a COVID year, you are it is normal in the sense of
Sure.
everyone has had to at some moment be disappointed with loss, with grief, with the pains that are going on in the world, and injustice issues, political issues. And so we're not above that fray. We're in this
Hmm.
world, though we're not of it. I was just reading a couple of days ago and reminded Jesus talking about, hey, listen, I'm from above. You
Hmm.
guys are from below. I'm from above. And I think that's the way out, is that we have a great Savior who um, he's actually gone before us.
Yep.
And so the way out of depression is actually to follow Jesus into heaven, and to actually follow that wonderful train of, yes, the cross, and yes, it's a place of immense pain and suffering and injustice. And on the cross, though, man, all the sins of humanity and all of our grief, it was born. And
Hmm.
because of that, we actually have hope, because Jesus didn't stay on the cross.
That's right.
That was a place, that was a pit stop, but that was not the end. That was not the destination. And so he rose again in power. He walked around for 40 days and showed his nail-pierced hands and his scars. And he rose, and he's sitting at the right hand of the Father. And now we get to now follow in that trail. We don't become Jesus, but we have access to heaven. And I
Mm.
think the way out of depression, it continues to be to set your mind on things above and not on earthly things.
Mm.
And to ask yourself that hard question. The psalmist said this: "Why are you so downcast, O my soul?" He asked it over and over and over. I think it was Psalm 42. But he just kept asking, why are you discouraged? Why are you depressed? Why? And then he finally clicks out. He says, put your hope in God. Put your hope in God. That's where it is. And so my encouragement is to trust God for that hope. And again, we have a living hope. It's not dead
Mhm.
hope. It's not a past hope. It's not a 20 years ago, 30 years. It is a living hope. And that hope is because Jesus is alive. And because he's alive, you shouldn't expect that your past is going to be your future.